Iran executes minority believers. Amid rising international outcry, Tehran, August 13, 2025. The Iranian government has confirmed the execution of 5 members of a banned religious minority, triggering condemnation from human rights organizations and a wave of protests among the Iranian diaspora. The executions, carried out in the early hours of Monday at Qazil Hisar prison, were the culmination of months of closed-door trials that international observers say violated basic due process standards. The accused state media described the group as members of a foreign-linked sect accused of spreading corruption on earth, a broad charge under Iran's penal code that can carry the death penalty. According to human rights monitors, the executed individuals belong to the fictional Darvani Fellowship, a small pacifist faith community that blends Sufi-inspired mysticism with environmental activism. Family members say the accused were peaceful practitioners targeted solely for their beliefs. They never carried weapons, never advocated violence, said the sister of one of the executed men, speaking to reporters from exile in Istanbul. Their only crime was gathering to pray, a secretive trial process. The trials were conducted before Revolutionary Court judges and proceedings closed to the public. Lawyers for the accused were reportedly denied access to the full case files, and several witnesses who might have testified for the defense were barred from attending. The charges were vague, the evidence minimal, and the outcome predetermined, said Raha Sadeghi, legal director of the fictional NGO Persia Rights Watch. This was a political execution meant to send a message that any independent religious activity outside state control will be crushed. Official justifications. Iran's judiciary insists the executions were lawful and necessary. In a televised statement, Judiciary spokesman Hossein Shariati said, "These individuals were engaged in covert cooperation with hostile foreign powers, using their so-called religious gatherings to undermine national security and sow discord among citizens." State TV aired edited footage purporting to show the defendants meeting with foreign nationals, though rights groups say the clips are heavily spliced and lack verifiable context. International response. The United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights issued a statement expressing grave concern and calling for a moratorium on the death penalty in Iran, especially in cases involving political or religious charges. The governments of Canada, Germany, and Japan summoned Iranian ambassadors in their capitals to lodge formal protests. The European Union announced it would consider targeted sanctions against Iranian judges and prosecutors involved in the executions. Protests abroad in cities from Berlin to Sydney. Expatriate Iranians held candlelight vigils for the executed believers. In Washington, hundreds gathered outside the Iranian Interest section chanting "Faith is not a crime" and holding photographs of the deceased. In Paris, protesters unfurled a giant banner from the Pont Neuf reading, "Stop executions in Iran." French police reported no arrests. A pattern of repression. Rights organizations say this latest incident is part of a broader crackdown on minority faiths inside Iran. Over the past year, dozens of Darvani Fellowship members have been detained along with adherents of other non-recognized religions. Reports from the fictional Middle East Liberty Observatory indicate that many face harassment, travel bans, or property confiscations. Analysts suggest the crackdown may be linked to growing unrest in rural provinces, where minority groups are overrepresented. When the economy is struggling and protests are simmering, authorities often turn to scapegoating marginalized communities, said political analyst Dr. Shirin Kaviani. Inside Iran, fear and silence. Within Iran, the executions have been met with a mix of fear and quiet sympathy. Public expressions of dissent are rare. Security forces have stepped up patrols around known Darvani gathering places. Social media users attempting to post condolences have reported account suspensions or summons for questioning. One Tehran resident, speaking on condition of anonymity, said, "Everyone knows someone who follows a different faith quietly. These executions are meant to scare the rest of us into silence." Diplomatic pressure is likely to mount in the coming weeks, but whether it will alter Tehran's policy remains uncertain. Historically, Iran's leadership has been resistant to foreign criticism, often portraying it as interference in domestic affairs. For the families of those executed, the international debate is little comfort. As one grieving mother told a reporter outside her modest home in Yazd, They have taken my son's life, but not his truth. One day the world will know who he really was.